Good evening. My apologies for not being able to make it last night. That was not by choice. Around between 5 and 6 or so, we started to have internet issues, and they were very, very strange. I made a video this morning about it, but nonetheless, I couldn't use the desktop computer to do anything because it wouldn't let me go anywhere. I could use my phone, and I could use it either with the Wi-Fi or the cellular data, and I could use Facebook. I could watch videos on YouTube, and I could do Twitter. But even on my mobile phone, I couldn't visit websites. Wouldn't load them. So really interesting. I just thought that was kind of really strange. And there may very likely be something about the connection that apps make that could be different than the connection that the web browser makes. It could come down to the port, to be honest. I don't know. But anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. But we're back. And I'm going to talk about what I was going to talk about last night tonight, because I do think it's an important thing to kind of go over. And there were a couple of more things that came out today that go along with it. And so I figured it was probably a good idea just to go ahead and just reschedule kind of the conversation for tonight. Lots of craziness I'm sure you've seen in the news. And just like I said, it's just getting started. And I'm sorry for kind of laughing there, but I told you these first 2 weeks of this month are going to be nuts. And we're at Thursday, and it's been pretty nuts every single day. So I might see a little bit of a break over the weekend. I don't know. But I think next week is going to continue to be crazy. And the reason I don't comment a whole lot about the last 2 weeks of November is because I'm not real certain how those are going to go. They could very likely be coast weeks, so to speak. Things, get incrementally bad over these first 2 weeks. And then, the last 2 weeks of the month, we might coast a little bit with the level of crap that we're dealing with. And then I think December's going to be a doozy. We'll see. Haven't done our shopping yet, so I can't tell you anything on what things are looking like locally. Now we just do grocery pickup, but nonetheless, you still have to deal with out of stock items, and you do still see if prices go up on items and stuff. So I'll let you know. Not real sure when we're going to get that set up and arranged. Probably here within the next couple of days, I would imagine. Trying to think if there's anything else. There is one other thing. After I shot that video the other day, of the winter sleeping gear, I actually was able to get the Wooby ordered. So now I have one complete set. I just have to get another sleeping bag, another Wooby, and another poncho, and then I'll have the 2 complete sets. Then I can work on the heater. So, but anyway, I do have it right here, and I like it. I like it a lot. So tomorrow, I'm going to do another video in which I cover just the Wooby and the rain poncho, because they go as a set. So tomorrow I will be doing a video on that. I'm telling you, man, I just messed with this a little bit, just pulled it out, checked it out. But this thing's not like it's super thick. It's not like it's super heavy or anything like that. Man, this thing is warm. This thing is like insane warm. Anyway, I will do a video just dedicated to that and the poncho tomorrow. So because there was something in the video that I did on the sleep gear video. There was something that I missed in that video. So something that I kind of think is important. And I want to make sure to get that in this other video. So let's see. I think that's pretty much the updates. A lot of it's just kind of waiting to be able to do stuff. Let me go ahead, and what I'm going to do is start out with one of the articles I have for you. And it's right here. And it's headline, Biden ready to change U.S. nuclear weapons policy, says reports. Now, the United States long, had a no, more or less, we'll just call it a no first strike policy, okay? No preemptive strikes, no first strike. That was pretty much the United States policy for most of the time that we've been a nuclear power. Well, that changed, and it's interesting because this article kind of blames it on Trump for that changing to a preemptive or at least a first strike possibility. Negative. That was Obama's baby. I remember very clearly. That was Obama's baby. I don't know why Trump got blamed for it. I do think that, I think it may have been that Obama had it put in place, but I think it might, have taken effect after Trump took over the helm, and I think that might be why they're pointing the finger at Trump. But that was Obama's baby. And I remember, because of my comments, and I'm sure if you went back on the shows, you would find them. My comments, I was asking the questions. What's he trying to do? Put us into war? So anyway, so what they did is they changed their policy up to more or less. If there may be a reason, that we find that we may need to make that first strike. In other words, say we had intel that, they were going to make a strike, that was imminent or something like that. Whatever the reasoning would be, and I'm sure they've got tons of different protocols and all that. This goes into it just a little bit, not very deep. But nonetheless, what this is saying is that Biden wants to change the policy, and he wants to take it back to a, absolutely no holds barred, no first strike policy. Now, I'm sure that there are a lot of people up in arms over this, but the matter of the fact is like I say, for the large majority, you might as well say all the time that we've been a nuclear power, that's been the policy. And in my opinion, to me, that's a good diplomatic policy to have. And let's word it exactly like that. That's a good diplomatic policy to have. I'm not saying that you should be naive. Remember what Reagan said. Trust but verify. And it's kind of the same logic. Yeah, you don't have to worry about us just making a first strike on you, To me, that's what that's stating. But if you had direct intel of an imminent strike on you or something like that, if there was some situation to where a first strike was the only choice you had in order to save the lives of your citizens, who the hell gives a shit about a policy? You know what I mean? What are they going to do? Russia going to take us to U.S. court and sue us because we didn't follow the policy? Yeah, it gets to be ridiculousness, when you really look at it and understand that all this crap is just words written on paper and signed. That's it. That's really it. So I wouldn't get too upset over any of this part of it. Whether he succeeds, doesn't succeed, I wouldn't let it faze you, because in reality it doesn't change a thing. So, the Pentagon had come out, and this is pretty much in contrary to the mood, I will say, that Biden wants to put out there. The Pentagon in this headline said, world will have 3 great powers and U.S. will be challenged. And what they're essentially talking about here is how, it used to be there was just 2 great powers, essentially, us and Russia. But now we've got an emerging power, China, and so now it's going to be 3. And because of that, there's likely going to be turmoil. And, for a multitude of reasons. And I would agree with them. There is no fault in his logic here. Very sound logic with their reasoning behind it. I'm not a fan of Mark Milley or anything like that. But this is, there's really no, I guess I'll read this part here. It says, Milley believes that maintaining the peace between the great powers in a tripolar configuration will be significantly more difficult than in Cold War times when 2 powers were at odds. Rapidly developing technologies also add up to the complexity, according to the general, with the world becoming potentially much more strategically unstable than, say, the last 40, 50, or 60 years. And that's correct. As I've stated on this show a number of times, couldn't tell you how many times, the situation we are in right now is worse than what the Cold War was. It just is. And the difference is the reason why, the general populace, so to speak, isn't aware of it is because it's not the agenda of the media and of the administration. They don't give a damn. They don't care if you're prepared or not. Don't make too much fuss of China telling their citizens to prepare. They've been telling them to prepare. This is just them telling them another time. That's all. They've already told the PLA, we've done in the last couple of years at least 2 reports that they've told the PLA to get ready for war. So, what more do you need, along that line? But they've been telling their citizens to get ready. This is just them telling them again. Your government, they don't give a damn. And, it's mind-blowing to know what I experienced growing up in the 80s. And, them coming out with a movie the day after, a note sent home to my parents from the school talking about the movie, telling, the parents that, they did recommend that the parent watch the movie with the child, but, that was kind of up to the parent and whether or not, how the child would handle it, essentially. I remember that. And I remember the movie because I did watch it. And it really had an impact on me. A huge, and that was the intent. The intent, same with the agenda that you see happening right now with the school children, okay? The same with that. There was an agenda in the 80s to get people to demand an end to nuclear weapons, okay? And that was when I grew up. I remember it. And I remember all the propaganda. I remember all the... Absolutely. So, and I'm not saying they're a great thing. I'm not picking a side on any of it. I'm just telling you what my experiences were. Now, since that's not the agenda, and you know what, when in the 80s, how is that a bad thing that they wanted, they wanted the world powers to get a hold of themselves when it came to these weapons? It's not a bad thing. However, now, what the administration is pushing for is absolutely a bad thing. And they are completely keeping the citizens out of the dark when it comes to what's going on with this stuff, but we are absolutely in a much more dangerous situation now than we were in the Cold War. Now, I'm not talking about those moments of the Cold War, like the Cuban Missile Crisis and all of that. I'm not talking about that. Those were just moments, and there were several of them during the Cold War where things were extremely tense. But they were moments. Now, I don't know if we've been having any of those moments, during all of this. We likely wouldn't know, especially not right away. I don't know if there's been any of those types of moments or not. I kind of don't think so. But I also think that there's been so many advancements in so many areas of it that that probably wouldn't even be a thing anymore. I have a feeling that we know damn well, or at least have a good idea of what's up. All the countries, So anyway, let me go ahead and move on to the next one here. You kind of get the idea here of what Mark Milley's saying, and like I say, I have to agree with him. I don't like him, but I have to agree with what he said about that. Now here is an article from RT, and this I put out today, and it says China is amassing nukes much faster than previously thought, says a Pentagon report. So I find it very interesting how the Pentagon is really, really, really hitting on this. And I understand about the military-industrial complex, and I get all of that. Believe me, I do. However, this isn't the same type of we're just trying to get a blank check to, do whatever we want to do with. Go spend it on hookers and blow down in South America or something. Because, sometimes it's got to be done, I guess. But anyway, I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying actual effort to get caught up. See, it's kind of an interesting situation. Because you have to understand, nuclear weaponry is archaic at this point. Okay? It's kind of almost like sticks and stones, if you will. Now, I'm not saying as far as the damage. I mean, they still do the damage that a nuclear weapon does, right? But there are such further advanced weapons out there now. I have no doubt that there are rail guns up in space. I have no doubt of that. We've most of us anyway have heard of the what do they call it? The Rod of God or something like that. That is rumored to be up there. So we know they've got weaponry like that up there that make nuclear weapons look kind of goofy at this point. Laser weapons, different types of directed energy weapons. Just trust me, they've got more junk floating around up there. It's unreal. And that's just the space weapons. What do you think the Space Force is about? The Space Force is for two primary purposes. One, to give us a good laugh. I'm just kidding. And two, to give us a defense up there to try to take out the other countries' weapons satellites before they can launch on us. Make sense now? Because that's where it's went to. And that's why you see, like China, they're rushing to build their own space station right now. You don't think that space station's going to be used for any other uses in scientific research? So, and then with all of this, the autonomous stuff, man, I'll tell you what, if we don't wipe each other out one way or another, we are on the verge of some pretty cool stuff. I mean, could you imagine? And I want to say it's already been happening. but I mean, could you imagine for it to be happening even on a much more common basis of fully automated rockets that carry supplies up and drop them off for not just one big space station but multiple big stations? I am not against civilian travel into space whatsoever. Why not? But I do think that we need to kind of keep a rein on it. The reason why I say that, because I think it would be cool as hell, not that I would ever be able to afford to do it, or that I would do it if I could, but it would be cool as hell to have a hotel in orbit. A space station hotel in orbit where people could go and stay a night in space. That would be absolutely freaking incredible. So, I don't know how I got off on that, but nonetheless, I know we're way far off weapons. But we got to keep an eye on this stuff, like with like the station that China's putting up and all that. And trust me, there's more to a lot of this going on. So let me, before I get off on some other type of crazy thought, let me go ahead and bring up the other one I had, because like I was telling you, there are tensions, and they're not letting up. In fact, they're escalating quite quickly. In this article here, this one also came out today. It says China tells U.S. to back down after explosive Taiwan comment. And I'm going to go ahead and read this article to you. It says the Chinese Foreign Ministry has hit back at the U.S., demanding Washington refrain from interfering in Taiwan after American General Mark Milley said his forces were capable of defending the island nation against Beijing. Speaking on Thursday during a daily press briefing, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Werbin demanded that the U.S. stop making comments about Taiwan that may contribute to the arrogance and the separatist forces. No one can underestimate China's firm determination and will to defend national sovereignty and territorial integrity. We will never allow anyone or any force to split Taiwan from the embrace of the motherland in any way, the spokesman stated. I mean, you're hearing it right there. You're hearing it right there. They're not being shy at all about saying their intentions. It says Wang called on the U.S. to respect the One China policy and fulfill its commitments to Beijing under the Sino-U.S. joint communiques, adding that issues relating to Taiwan should be handled prudently and properly. It says the spokesman was responding to a question regarding comments made by the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Mark Milley on Wednesday. Speaking at the Aspen Security Forum, Milley said U.S. forces absolutely have the capability to defend Taiwan from China, adding that there is no question about that. He also said he did not believe that China would seek to invade Taiwan anytime soon. Milley continued, however, to say that Beijing is clearly building up military capabilities so that its future leaders have that option. Let's see. The Chinese government has consistently called on Western powers not to interfere in affairs relating to Taiwan, which it regards as an inalienable part of China, and is seeking to reunite the island, even potentially by force. Now, Milley had gone on to say that he didn't see China invading Taiwan, in the next 6 months, 12 months, and he said, possibly even 24 months, but he couldn't speak to anything beyond that. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. So that's essentially what Milley was saying. And I would say he's probably pretty accurate. But this is all stuff that we need to kind of keep a close eye on, the first one, probably don't pay so much attention to that. Whether or not we change our policy on, first strike or not, don't pay much attention to that. That's just policy. That's not reality. They're two totally separate things, right? So anyway, that pretty much covers what I was going to tell you about that situation. I am going to cover headlines from the last 2 nights because there was so much that went on yesterday. I think it's really important that we go over that. So I'm going to do just like I do on Sunday nights. I'm going to make sure to cover both days. So anyway, as I've been saying, the answer's still the same for us. Get prepared, get prepared, get prepared. Because it's coming quick. It's coming quick. And I think a lot of people are really starting to see this. And I don't know. I think this month is going to be very telling. Very, very telling. But I don't think it's going to get any better after that. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong. Hell, I'd love to have another year or two to prepare. I'd love to, But then again, I'm always going to say that. I'm always going to say that. Just is what it is. But it would be nice. Don't quite have everything that would well, again, never going to have everything, but I still need a few more things. So be nice. Be nice. Trying to think if there's anything else to cover before we jump in, get the headlines done. I guess we jump in, get the headlines done since there's 2 days, and get the heck out of here since it's our Friday. You just got huffed. Yep, that's all on you. Let's see. All right. Oh, you guys might want to go along for the ride here. All right. So I'm starting out with stuff I put out yesterday, and like I say, there's tons. And well, this first one, well, it just speaks for itself. QAnon supporters meet in Dallas expecting return of JFK Jr. from the dead. So, okay. U.S. Marines get dominated by British colleagues in desert exercise. I shared this out on my personal Facebook, and I said, well, yeah, have you ever tried running through the desert in high heels? I mean, come on, it's a bitch. Even pumps aren't much better. I mean, I had a hell of a day. Let's see. Gun-loving ex-Marine Winsome Sears becomes Virginia's first black and female lieutenant governor as Republicans sweep state race. And I know I didn't speak to anything on that, and it's because it's elections, and I don't play into them. I mean, it's politics, and is it gonna really do much in the end? No. But it is cool, and it's neat to see. I'm glad to see it. I'm happy it happened. Don't misunderstand me. I would like to see some more waves come, please. Much, much more waves. That is what it is. But in the end, not going to change much. 2 wings, 1 bird. Biden blames Russia and OPEC for high oil and gas prices in the U.S. Remember, this is yesterday. Senior Taliban commander among those killed in ISIS attack on Kabul hospital. The energy crunch is adding billions to oil tycoons' net worth. I think we probably knew that. Taliban bans foreign currencies in Afghanistan amid financial catastrophe. Minneapolis votes to keep cops, rejects controversial plan to replace them with peace officers. I never dug into that. to see exactly what they were talking about. Let's see. Sorry about that. Philippines Duarte vows to punish local officials unless COVID-19 vaccine rollout improves. And otherwise, he's going to beat everybody with the rubber hose until morale improves. Iranian military foils U.S. attempt to seize tanker in Sea of Oman, whatever. America is tired of woke. Conservatives gloat as Braves win World Series after Atlanta was stripped of All-Star Game. And I didn't share that because I give a damn about sports. I shared that because I agree America is tired of woke. Democrat Eric Adams wins New York mayoral race on promises of boosting public safety and making city a Bitcoin hub. Ukraine must be ready to impose martial law and prepare bloodbath for Russia in event of invasion. Wow, I can't spit that out. Former Kiev army chief says. New Jersey Democrat Governor Murphy will wait for every vote to be counted in close election race against Republican, is it Citarelli? Something like that. Could be shit or wet. Like chow, right? Shit already? I can't do it. Hell, I can't do English. Whistleblower exposes multiple issues with Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine trial. And still on yesterday's stuff that I put out yesterday. Ukraine appoints former neo-Nazi paramilitary leader to senior army advisory role. Russia's single-dose COVID-19 jab Sputnik Light is safe and stimulates strong immune response, new Lancet study of vaccine finds. Belarusian cargo plane confirmed to have crashed and caught fire in Siberia as Russian officials report 7 people on board. Google News to relaunch in Spain soon after Madrid law change allows companies and publishers to decide how to share revenue. Despite using private jets and traveling around Europe with 85 car cordages, I guess that's, I've never heard it called that. Anyway, Biden slams Putin for appearing by video link at COP26. Yeah. A lot of people were planning to be there by video link. They're spiffy. You're the only one that had to take your ass over there. You could crap your pants in the Vatican. Polish president gives green... I didn't say that. Jen, why'd you say that? You're going to get me in trouble. Polish president gives green light for new wall on border with Belarus in bid to beat back flow of refugees and illegal migrants. Sorry. Sometimes I can't help myself. Gulf states doubt U.S. commitment to Middle East after failures in Afghanistan and Iraq, ex-Saudi spy chief says. Australian ace theme reveals he is vaccinated after public shaming by health minister on TV. I mean, isn't this crazy? Democrat McAuliffe concedes Virginia governor's election to Youngkin in setback for Biden administration. I'm sure you all know that. 12 trans sex offenders moved to women's prisons in Scotland over the past 18 months. WHO greenlights India's domestically made Covaxin COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use. Let's see. European natural gas prices continue to rise as EU grapples with energy crisis. A new low hit after Macron's text about subs deal leaked in deceitful Australia, French ambassador warns. The UK says there's no plan to lower threshold to provide more licenses to French boats as Paris pauses sanctions threat. A Welsh museum to reframe portrait of Waterloo hero Picton after African diaspora group complains. U.S. sees nothing overtly aggressive and significant movement of Russian troops near Ukrainian border. And that's like the first time in a whole long time that the United States has admitted that Russia wasn't to blame for something. That's pretty astonishing there. Israeli court freezes auction of tattoo kit allegedly used by Nazis to brand Auschwitz death camp inmates. That's crazy, and I could see putting it in a museum, but for somebody to want that in their personal collection would be a little disturbing, I think. Maybe not. I mean, I guess maybe, I don't know. Biden mulling introduction of sole-purpose nuclear weapons policy. We talked about that. NFL great Aaron Rodgers contracts COVID-19 as reports question whether he lied about being vaccinated. The reason I shared this, even though we don't, get into sports and stuff, the reason why I shared this is because here this guy, he catches COVID-19 and automatically people start accusing him of lying about getting the vaccine. And it doesn't, my point of it is, and I don't know if he had it or not, but my point of it is, what's it matter? Because there are plenty of breakthrough cases. What's it matter? Why are we even, why are we acting so stupid about this? Israeli spyware giant NSO Group added, and I'm not saying we as in all of us, I'm speaking of the choir, you know that. Israeli spyware giant NSO Group added to U.S. trade blacklist along with 3 others. Still on stuff I put out yesterday, we covered this one. No misconduct or negligence in U.S. drone strike on Afghan aid worker that killed 7 children, Pentagon probe finds. So there was no misconduct or negligence. No negligence at all. No. I mean, killing innocent people, that's not negligent. FDA has full confidence in Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine data despite explosive report on trial issues. Damning analysis discovers U.S. tap water is a cocktail of chemicals. November date announced for resumption of Iran nuclear deal talks. New Jersey double-counted votes in Deep Blue County as governor's race on knife edge. New Zealand government enlists gangs to preach COVID-19 vaccination. Yeah, you heard that right. They enlisted gangs, street gangs, to, talk about the vax. So I wonder if they're going to, get them to join Jehovah's Witness or anything afterwards. I'm wondering if street gangs are going to start walking around going, hey, you talked to Jesus lately? Anyway, I know I'm an idiot. Biden tells reporter to not send garbage out when asked on payments to illegal migrants. Brandon administration, Florida's governor rebrand of Biden triggers rowdy LGB chants. Let's see. AP calls New Jersey race for Democrat Governor Murphy as GOP says votes are still being counted. Again, this is information I put out yesterday. We should be coming up pretty close here to what I started today. Lots and lots of headlines. The frequency, has been pretty pretty big, whatever, pretty often, however you want me to say it. I'm glad it's our Friday. Google aggressively pursuing Pentagon's cloud computing contract set to replace scrapped Jedi project, says the media. 8,500 active duty Air Force troops miss vaccine mandate deadline as thousands seek religious exemptions. Let's see what happens with that. Former president of Broward County Democratic Black Caucus pleads guilty to $300,000 COVID relief fraud scheme. A lackluster election day is proof people want Democrats to get things done, Biden declares in voting post-mortem. Okay. Let me have another sip of coffee. Now we are at this morning, or what I put out this morning. Have me a couple of vapes. Oh, goodness. Okay. GOP senators say Meghan Markle has called the press for support on paid leave measure in Biden's spending bill. And when I read that, I was like, well, that's pretty ridiculous. What the hell does it matter what she thinks? Lawyer for Epstein's Madam Maxwell likens her jail conditions to Hannibal Lecter's in new bail request. Would you like some more fava beans or anything? Just asking. Ford to become first U.S. automaker to mandate vaccines for 30,000 plus workers. Russian exports of farming machinery soared a record high on demand from EU and CIS. Yeah. There's a microphone cord in the middle of that acronym there. China is we covered that one. 7 people fined for anti-Semitic tweets about Miss France contestant. Israel to put massive military balloon in the sky. China hits back at reports of widespread food shortages. One more sector of UK economy hit with severe labor shortage. Tim Pool, grateful to fellow podcaster Joe Rogan after beating COVID-19 with kitchen sink of drugs. I thought that was pretty cool that Tim got his own RT article. So, yeah, and he, like I said, he's got an incredible video talking about his experience with it, and I do highly urge folks to watch it. 240 days in isolation, Sirius 21 project simulating moon mission kicks off in Moscow. A Scotland primary school draws flack after telling boys to wear skirts. Let's see. Squid Game challenge leaves 3 Aussie kids with horrendous sugar burns amid copycat trend. Kids, don't do stupid stuff. You know, we didn't do stuff that stupid when we were young. But you know what? It doesn't matter what they call you. And I know there's no kids that, but if there's parents watching this or whatever, pass this down. It doesn't matter what other kids call you. It doesn't matter. When I was in high school, there was a bunch of stupid-ass games. Pardon my language, but one of them was taking your comb, Most everybody back then had a comb in their back pocket. You took your comb, and I'm talking a stiff bristled comb, and you racked it on your knuckles, right? and you did it until they bled. And I don't even know the game, to tell you the truth. I guess you and somebody else did it, and whoever gave up first lost, I guess. I don't know. I never played it. Why? Because it was stupid, and I told them that. And I got called the P word and everything else you could imagine. I didn't give a damn. Why? Because that's stupid. And the other ignorant thing that they did was light a cigarette, and they would put it on their forearm. And, now that one I do remember, whoever could hold it, on their forearm the longest won. Stupid. So, these stupid ass challenges, challenges have always been around. You don't have to take part in them. 11 p.m. agrees on crisis exit roadmap amid Saudi spat. Spending watchdog accuses European Commission chief of ecological sin. UK MOD repeatedly wasted billions, says parliamentary committee. WHO sounds alarm over looming COVID-19 catastrophe in Europe. UK approves game-changer COVID-19 drug. Israel's ex-PM Netanyahu raises hand by mistake and votes with rivals. I thought that was kind of funny. And I guess that means it counts, I guess. Wouldn't that suck? U.S. mandates vaccines or tests for big companies by January 4th. Iranian Navy forces encounter U.S. destroyers over oil tanker. Brussels comments on future of nuclear power amid widespread energy crisis. Secret Israeli dossier contained no proof to declare Palestinian NGOs terrorists, says reports. Insulate Britain, take eco-protests to Parliament, mounting police vans and gluing themselves to vehicles. Let's see. China tells... Oh, we covered that one. Russia boosted oil production in October. Federal agents arrest an analyst involved in anti-Trump Steele dossier, says reports. Democrats want DOJ to crack down on mask-induced air rage. Users nostalgic for old-school heroin, Vice says, prompting questions about the CIA. Well, yeah, and I did read the article, and I would say the people, the suspicious people are probably correct in this. From what the article's saying is the true heroin, really, there's not a lot of it out there anymore, and that is out there is becoming very, very expensive. Instead, it's getting replaced with synthetic heroin that's made with fentanyl, and there are a lot of individuals, a lot of heroin addicts that's not what they want. They want the real deal. There's actually even call for legalization of it, so that it could be regulated, so that people would know that they were getting what they thought they were getting, and they wouldn't wind up dying from fentanyl overdoses from bad batches and stuff. There's logic to it, whatever side I'm. You know what? It's nobody else's business. Vaccine, heroin, you name it. It's nobody else's business what I put or don't put in my body. Period. Not that I'm defending the use of heroin or anything like that. Absolutely not. I think if you use heroin, you're a tool. Hopefully you can get over it. Hopefully you can get life on the right track. I'm not trying to put anybody down, but it's not a wise thing to do. But I'll say the same thing about moderate drinking and above. A social drink once in a while, that's no big deal. But anybody that drinks on a regular basis, I think that's a problem. I know that a lot of people disagree with that. But that's cool. I'm good with that. You know why? It's none of my business what you put in your body. If you want to get slam drunk every single night, it ain't none of my business. As long as you aren't harming me in any way by doing so, it ain't none of my business. Right? I want to sit here and smoke pinch hits. Ain't nobody else's business. Is what it is. Let's see. Watch election worker allow non-citizen to fill out ballot in tight New Jersey race. So, yeah. Insane. A Tory MP accused of corruption resigns from cruel world of politics after government U-turn. Kids aged 5 and up in San Francisco will have to show proof of vaccination status. Putin and Lukashenko approve new military doctrine as they ink Russia-Belarus integration documents. A Rittenhouse juror dismissed for joke about police shooting of Jacob Blake. Biden administration could extend vaccine mandate to businesses with fewer than 100 employees. Study credits vaccination with almost eliminating cervical cancer in young women. School taught lesson on dual pandemic of COVID-19 and racism in the U.S. I thought that was kind of crazy. Hang on, coffee break. Let's see. German mother sentenced to life for killing 5 of her children in horror case. Ex-Clinton strategist suggests woke detox center for Dems after Virginia election loss. Yeah, it's kind of funny. New York City mayor-elect vows to take first paychecks in Bitcoin. U.S. airline staff could end up on the street for refusing vaccines, a pilot tells RT. Court dismisses lawsuit by Bezos' Blue Origin over SpaceX/NASA contract. Guess I could have used the word "and" there. U.S. approved sale of $650 million in air-to-air missiles to Saudi Arabia. You know, but don't you dare own a bump stock. 60 reported dead after attack on villagers in southwestern Niger. Active shooter reported at Hyatt Resort in Cancun, Mexico. South Dakota governor, you know, hey, if that's what you want on a vacation, man, you've got St. Louis, you've got Chicago, you know, you could either have St. Louis style pizza and get shot in the face, or you could have Chicago style pizza and get shot in the face. I mean, you save yourself a lot of trouble. You wouldn't need a passport, you wouldn't, you know, and you could understand what they were saying before they shot you in the face. So, hey, it's a win-win-win, right? South Dakota governor sues Biden over vax mandate after getting sued by Republicans. Navy punishes sub that hit mountain in South China Sea. 2 dead in gang shootout at Cancun resort. You know, I don't get it, man. There's plenty of warnings about going, and normally I don't think things happen like in the resorts. I think the resorts are typically pretty safe as long as you stay in the resorts. But from my understanding, there's quite a few horror stories about individuals that leave the resort, you know, the resort ground itself. And there's quite a few horror stories about that. Why? I keep asking it's got to be a status thing. It's got to. I don't know. I don't understand that because I don't live to impress people. I don't care. So I don't get that. Why? How is it any more beautiful than some of the places that we have in the United States? You know, we got some gorgeous places here in the United States. Got some gorgeous coastlines. We've got some gorgeous mountains, some gorgeous waterfalls. You know, you want a beautiful place to go take a vacation. And I've not done it, but I know it's a beautiful place to take a vacation. Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Gorgeous. Waterfalls, mountains. I mean, gorgeous. And you're not likely to get shot in the face. That's a plus when you're on vacation. I mean, most people anyway that I know don't put getting shot in the face on their itinerary. Some might, I guess. Bill Gates wants U.S. and U.K. to spend billions on germ games. So that's what he's got planned for us next, right? Fears 5J. I'll just make shit up. Fears 5G may cause major disruptions for aircraft delay rollout. Woke Capital Incarnate, Microsoft event opens with land acknowledgements and pronouns. Wonderful. White House now says Biden perfectly comfortable with migrant family payouts. I'm sure he is. That son of a... I can't say what I'm perfectly comfortable with. I'm not allowed. And we had news here. Fauci says he has no responsibility for the current pandemic in testy exchange with Senator Rand Paul. Well, we'll see what they say at the trials. Okay, I wanted to get that shared out. Alright. That's what it looks like I've got for you. Can't think of anything else. Like I say, I'll do a video tomorrow on the poncho and the poncho liner, the Whoopee blanket, whatever you want to call it. And talk about that a little bit. Like I say, there was something I think that was important that I forgot to talk about in the sleeping gear video. So I'll make sure to say it tomorrow. Anyway, that's all I can think of. I'm gonna slip out the door here and chillax. So hope y'all have a good night. Hope you have a good weekend. If anything pops up, I'll make videos on it and whatnot. And otherwise, we'll see you Sunday. I appreciate you coming. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.